Here are the top stories of the news. Amotekun operatives rescue 3 nurses abducted by gunmen at a primary health center in Ondo State. Nantawe Yilwatda Najibolaba Shiru returned as APC National Chairman and National Secretary. On the foreign scene, Yemen's Iran-backed Houthis launched missile strikes on Israel for the first time since war began. Good afternoon and welcome to Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. My name is Olufemi Alugbe. Operatives of the Ondo State Security Network Agency, also known as Amotekun, have rescued 3 nurses abducted by gunmen at a primary health care center in Akure, the Ondo State capital. The Corps Commander Adetunji Adeleye, who confirmed the development while speaking at the headquarters of the command, said the health workers were rescued at about 4:30 a.m. on Saturday. Adeleye also confirmed the rescue of a 45-year-old man and his 15-year-old son, who were abducted at Kwelibe community along Oda Road, Akure. Some armed bandits had stormed the primary health center located in the Okejebu area of Akure, abducting no fewer than 3 health workers on duty on Saturday morning. It was gathered that the bandit struck at the government-owned facility at about 2 a.m. and whisked away the victims. According to one of the patients at the center, the attackers arrived in a bus, forcefully entered the facility, and took away the victims, while all the health workers on duty luckily escaped. The Amotekun commander assured residents that the safety of lives and property remains a top priority for the Ondo State government. He also urged members of the public to continue to provide timely and adequate information for security agencies, stressing the need for collective efforts to enhance safety across the state. In the meantime, over 270 suspects have been arrested as officers of the Delta State Police Command raided black sports and criminal hideouts in Wari, Ovie, Jedo, and Ugeli communities in the state. In a statement, spokesman for the State Police Command, SP Bright Edafe, said assorted illicit drugs were recovered from some of the suspects during the coordinated intelligence-driven raid. According to the statement, during the operation, a total of 59 suspects comprising 51 males and 8 females were arrested and at identified criminal hideouts, including a notorious bush bar. The police disclosed that most of the hotels affected operate at brothels housing prostitutes and creating a safe haven for criminal elements, while some suspected cultists who have been on the command's watch list were among those apprehended. And to politics, Nantawe Yilwatda Najibola Bashir have been returned as National Chairman and National Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, APC. Yilwatda and Bashiru were elected on Friday at the 4th elective national convention of the APC held at Eagle Square, Abuja. The delegates at the convention held at the Eagle Square also produced a new national working committee through a consensus arrangement endorsed by stakeholders. In his acceptance speech, Yilwatda said his re-election was a call to greater service and pledged commitment to unity within the ruling party. President Bola Tinubu, Vice President Kashim Shettima, governors, members of the National Assembly, and other party leaders graced the convention. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has rejected claims that Nigeria is headed toward a one-party state, noting that a healthy opposition is imperative for development and progress. Speaking at the National Convention of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in Abuja, President Tinubu said democracy thrives when there is credible opposition. The opposition has repeatedly accused President Tinubu and the APC of plotting to turn the country into a one-party state. The president added that the right to associate freely as enshrined in the Constitution, cannot be trampled on, nor can the APC be prevented from exercising that right as it deems fit. President Tinubu also said the economic reforms initiated by his administration have begun to yield results through improved investment and growing interest in the oil and gas sector.
We are here to ensure constitutional democracy, and we thank God for what we have been doing in the last 3 years. 36 years of unbroken freedom, commitment, and democracy. It's not easy without twists and turns. Let me reiterate to those who then lament and misunderstood us. We do not use one-party state. Democracy thrives on vibrant and healthy competition. But we cannot bar the constitutional freedom of association. As a statesman and a political leader, I believe in a credible opposition. One can challenge, question, and help refine policies. That is how statecraft improves and good governance is achieved. That is how nations advance. While we welcome criticism, the constant attacks by opposition groups on the Electoral Act 2026 are a disservice to Nigerian people. It is public knowledge the process leading to the amendment of the 2022 Electoral Act passed through the crucible of legislative scrutiny.
Still on politics, the Kabiru Turaki-led People's Democratic Party, PDP, has asked the Supreme Court to restrain the factional loyal to the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Yesam Wike, from conducting its national convention scheduled for March 29 and 30. Turaki-led PDP faction on Friday filed an appeal against the judgment of the Court of Appeal, which upheld the ruling nullifying its national convention held in Ibadan, the Ondo State capital, in November 2025. In the appeal, the PDP faction argued that the Court of Appeal and the Federal High Court lacked jurisdiction over the matter. In October 2025, the Federal High Court in Abuja stopped the PDP faction led by Governor of Oyo Seyi Makinde and Governor Bauchi Bala Mohammed from going ahead with its national convention slated for November 15 and 16 in Ibadan. Despite the ruling, PDP National Working Committee of the faction went ahead with the national convention in Ibadan. The Ibadan convention produced Turaki as national chairman and of the faction and other members of the National Working Committee. However, the faction loyal to the FCT did not participate in the convention, but rather constituted a parallel NWC Board of Trustees, National Executive Committee. On March 9, the Court of Appeal in Abuja affirmed the judgment of a federal high court which restrained the conduct of the Ibadan. Moving on, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has extended the deadline for political parties to submit their membership registers as part of preparations for the 2027 general election. In a statement on Friday, Mohammed Kudu Haruna, INEC National Commission and Chairman of the Information and Voter Education Committee, said the decision followed concerns raised by political parties over the initial timeline. The Commission said it had agreed to adjust the schedule to align with provisions of the Electoral Act 2026. The INEC Commissioner noted that political parties are not allowed to determine the dates of their primaries within the approved window of April 23 to May 30, 2026. He added that it is imperative that parties adhere to the timeline to ensure a smooth electoral process, noting that the adjustment effectively shifts the final submission deadline. Aminu Gwazo has resigned his position as the deputy governor of Kano State. Earlier this month, the Kano State House of Assembly commenced impeachment proceedings against Gwazo over alleged gross misconduct, abuse of office, breach of public trust, and financial malfeasance. In February, the Kano State legislature denied reports of plots to impeach Gwazo over his alleged refusal to join the All Progressives Congress, APC. Governor of Kano, Abba Yusuf, members of his cabinet, and the state lawmakers defected from the NNPP to the APC in January. In other news, a late-night fire has gutted a timber market in Calabar, Cross River State, destroying goods worth millions of naira. In a video posted online, 3 men were observed expressing grief over the loss of their property as sticks of timber burned intensely. State Police Public Relations Officer ASP Sunday Topa has said the incident occurred around 8:30 p.m. on Friday at the timber market located beside the police barracks in the state capital. The command said preliminary reports indicated that the fire allegedly started from a spark originating from the public power supply within the market. The police spokesman noted that the combined efforts of the police and the Cross River State Fire Service and the University of Calabar Fire Service helped to contain the blaze and prevent it from spreading to the nearby police barracks. A Tokwa further disclosed that the inferno was eventually extinguished at about 1:55 a.m. on Saturday. While no lives were lost, he said goods and properties, mainly timber and other materials valued at millions of naira, were destroyed. You're watching Spring News at 12, West Spring Television. We will be right back.